I've always liked comics, I always liked paintings and everything, so I think I feel kind of really privileged to work for, I guess, a medium which I'm really fond of. I think the characters that end up in the stories that I create, they tend to begin their lives as very loose sketches in my sketchbooks. I think when you start a story, you always hope that the story will kind of take on a life of its own. For example, I think that the two main characters in Monkey Robot, Atari and Oliver. Atari obviously is a kind of a young Asian boy, but Oliver, people always ask me, what is he? Is he like an elephant? Is he like a dog or whatever? But I don't really know it myself, and I think part of the hope is that that's something that will kind of reveal itself in future stories.
It's a bit of a myth that the poet gets an idea and wham, out comes a fully formed poem. Rather, a different form of discipline is required. Poems germinate as fragments waiting to grow up. I come back to them periodically, watering them with new thought. If I am lucky, they take root, and over an evening or 5 they begin to flower. Wherever I am and whatever the poem is about, no feeling can beat the one of writing the final line of a poem, other than that of writing the beginning of the next poem.
As a woman director in the minority, I have to treat the female characters in my film better. They are not just there to advance the plot for male characters. They are often active rather than reactive. I'm one who constantly tries to break out of the previous boundaries I have created for myself. Therefore, you never see me make the same film twice. At the end of the film, I always feel really sad and empty because for me, the exciting thing is in the doing. So what makes it worthwhile for me at the end of the day is in starting on a new project. It is when I feel that I can do it all over again.
My artist statement has always been to relook at realities that we often accept without questioning. In a way, my work always presents different sort of possibility or different realities that we can look at. While my work looks at the future a lot as well, it actually goes back to the past because I'm interested in actually looking at alternative ways of continuing certain sort of culture or tradition, and then how that sort of experience can be relived, like maybe in 50 years' time through technology, or in a way preserving history or culture.
I have an obsession with animals since I was a boy. I like everything that's animal-related. Recently, I've been asking myself, why do I have this obsession with animals? So I try to address this question within my works. It has become increasingly difficult for me to differentiate between truth and fiction throughout my work. I realize a lot of times they complement each other, and there's always some fiction in truths and some truths in fiction. I think it's very nice when my audience no longer wants to know whether what I present is truth or fiction, but they choose instead to be suspended in the state of not knowing whether it's truth or fiction.